Hello, hello. Hope you guys doing fantastic today. Captain Poland, the video guide, build guide, whatever you want to call it, is there. When I first made this character, I didn't think it's going to grow into what it is right now. It's ridiculously strong, arguably stronger than the Molten Titan because of its ridiculous tankiness. We're going to jump right into it to a showcase, but we're going to do a showcase with a twist. And by twist, I mean I'm just going to take off my most expensive items. The Strength Maximum Life Jewel and the Ingenuity. The remaining jewels are literally 1 Exalt, maybe 5 Exalt, some of them, jewels. Mostly focused on increasing area of effect. And I have all of them. I also took off my HP jewels, so I took as much HP off as possible. And now without Ingenuity, my resistances are 58, 58, 64 chaos. So let's see how this is gonna go. This is going to be a tier 18 map with a boss with breach. It's going to be perfect. Let's see what we can do. I'm going to explain as we progress through the map. So this is a strength stacking build that utilizes Work Rise and maximum block chance. We use Turtle's Charm to, I believe this is how it's called, to block all the abilities in the game. It's ridiculously powerful. It gets even stronger with Swollen Shield because your block is lucky, which means that basically if you, for example, get to 60 maximum block chance, your effective block chance is about 84%. Not about, exactly 84%. Because if you fail your block, it rolls again. If you fail that 60%, it rolls again. And then if it fails 60% for the second time, then you get hit. So that's how it works. Hopefully I'm not going to crash. Please, GTX, please. Please, Ryzen. You can do this. Yeah, there are some people that said that in the previous video that the clear speed is ridiculously slow. I mean, look, if this is ridiculously slow to you, then just go back to freaking Deadeye or Stormweaver or whatever you're playing, and freaking stop watching warrior videos. I mean, because this is pretty much as fast as it can get for warriors. Realistically speaking, I jump into a pack and the screen explodes. And I understand that I am slow inherently because I don't have movement speed skills, but you know, the hell am I supposed to do about that? So yeah. So that's how the clear speed looks like. Keep in mind, I have basically all my most expensive items are gone, and make sure to check if my HP is going down or not, because I'll be honest, quite some time ago I stopped checking my HP because it basically never goes down. It just never goes down with this build. Like when I started playing PoE 2, I thought that the builds where you can like actually watch something on the second monitor do not exist and will not exist in this game. Guess what? I am constantly watching something on the second monitor while playing this build, and oh yes, another breach. Yes. And that's it. Like, it's just the HP just does not go down. It doesn't. I'm sorry. I've been doing some maps, ridiculously difficult maps on stream, pretty much every day. And guess what? Like, when I have my gear up, the HP does not go down ever. I can't even do penetration maps with this build. It still doesn't matter. It's that strong defensively. So it's definitely one of the, if not the most tanky builds I've seen so far in the game. And yeah. And the clear speed is certainly not that bad, because it's like you don't need a weapon. Or something I completely forgot to mention, by the way, is that I am actually wearing right now a 10 Exalt weapon. I bought it yesterday because it's unironically better than my semi-expensive weapons, because they leap some faster. Because this build does not care that much about the about the damage from the weapon itself, right? It cares about how you scale your work rate damage, and that's it, and the explosion damage, and that's pretty much it. Right. And once again, I have 58 resistance, and I was standing inside 10,000 explosions there. I dropped to like what? What was that? 2,000 HP? So I mean, you can still, like, you know, if you actually had your resistance up, these would basically do no damage to me. And that's how this build is. You just walk around, you pop Earth Shatter on the monster pack. You can also do something like this, for example. You can walk through the packs and just keep on pressing your war cry if you want, without even using Earth Shatter, and the monsters will eventually die. Alright? It's up to you. I felt like leap slamming into using explosions, into exploding monster packs feels a little bit better, but both ways will be fine, and you can do whatever you want, right? I mean, with this amount of tankiness, you can it can take a day to kill monsters, and they will still not kill you, right? Because you just can't. Of course, one thing you can do is you can... Wow, what was that? What was that? Juke. One thing you can do is to keep on using your Perfect Strike, and Perfect Strike is perfectly fine to just instantly kill any rare monster you're gonna find. And we also use Perfect Strike to kill bosses. And right now you might be thinking, oh, this build has negative damage on bosses, right? You should know me better at this point. Just you wait. Just wait a second. Okay? Alright, so we're gonna just jump over there. I'm going to finish this map. I'm gonna pick up the loot later. The map will not disappear. If it will disappear, well, unlucky. Is what it is. Anything for my beloved viewers, just to make it make it faster. Yeah, whatever. Alright, boss left. So, when it comes to bosses with this build, you can do 3 different interesting things. And that's actually so freaking cool, by the way. So, number 1, you can keep on using your 10 Exalt weapon, and you can just kill boss like this, right? That's option number 1. Option number 2, you get an expensive weapon, two-handed, because we used Giant's Blood on this build for single target. Two-handed weapon, and swap around, and boom, all of a sudden you have double or even more than that damage. And option number 3, you can have 2 big weapons on your swap, and a secondary tree for focused on single target damage, right? Like these nodes over here. And what you do is you just click this, remove this, and boom, and you hit like a truck. But what I'm gonna showcase here is just a 10 Exalt weapon without Ingenuity, without this, right? This is like a tier 18 boss plus I don't even know. This is the maximum level boss in the game. You can't get more than that. Long story short. Okay, so I'm gonna cast my curse. That's it. That's like a tier 23 boss or something. I don't know if this is how you even count that, but yeah, that's it. It wasn't too bad, right? For a 10 Exalt weapon. And guess what? You can't say that any other pieces of my equipment give me any damage, because I don't. This is all defense, nothing else. So yeah, that's the showcase of Captain Poland. If I say so myself, the build is looking ridiculously strong. The ratio of what I consider strong, okay, to the people that say that I clickbait, there were very few, don't get me wrong, there were very few people that said that. But to people that said that I'm clickbaity sometimes. To me, what is strong is the combination of tankiness, damage, and clear speed. All these things combined at the same time. Potentially quality of life and some other things. To me, this character, if you combine all the things that it has, is just very, 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 very strong. It really is. Potentially stronger than the Molten Titan because of its ridiculous tankiness. But that was the damage with a 10 Exalt weapon. Let me show you what happens if I actually do the proper setup. And excuse me for extremely bad gameplay from me. I missed my perfect strike like 3 times in this fight. There is a reason for that. For some reason, when I swap to my second weapon swap, I start dropping frames like really bad. I have no idea why this happens, and it's really weird, but it does. And it makes things way harder, to be honest. But let's see what happens here. Alright, so I blocked this bad boy. I missed my perfect strike. Amazing. This time I didn't miss. And that already was a solid 7.5 million ignite. I missed again, because I'm so good at this game. Truth be told, like, I think it looks better here. I was dropping frames so hard. Alright, that's... oh, crap, that's above 10 million ignite. Would you look at that? And he's dead. So that's the level of single target damage we're talking about. Guess what? I did some calculations. That is nowhere near as much as you can get. I did some calculations and with like perfect setup, with stronger weapons, because this is a 3 divine weapon. For my budget, honestly, this weapon is garbage. I will admit, for my budget, this weapon is freaking... it's trash. This weapon is much better, but also could be upgraded, because the DPS is not very high on this one. But this weapon is simply trash. And I did some calculations with like actually very optimal setup. You could be doing about 20 million single target damage with a single perfect strike on this build. That's right, 2 hits and the tankiest pinnacle boss in this game dies. With a full tank character, right? So yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty strong for a garbage warrior, right? Warriors are garbage, right, guys? Anyway, let's get into the details, right? I am not going to do leveling in this video because, as I said, the video is going to take 2 hours if I'm going to do that. But the leveling is very similar to the Molten Titan at the same time. So if you want to check, you can check that video. I made the leveling video for Molten Titan. It's over an hour long, I think. But what you can do is to just level up with Molten Blast and Perfect Strike. And that's it. Like, you get resistances on your gear, you get armor on your gear, you get health, and you get 2 one-handed weapons, and you just beat the game with Molten Blast and Perfect Strike. Exactly the same as I do in the leveling video for Molten Titan. That's one thing you can do. The second thing you can do is the second you get your Ignore Warcry cooldowns, your Great Wolf's Howl passive, you can just start using Warcries with Corrupted Blood. And that will kill monsters and do damage. My recommendation, though, is you can do this, and this will work. 100% is gonna work. But I think that this is better, like, after the campaign. Like, I think that leveling in the campaign with Molten Blast and Perfect Strike is really good. And then once you start seeing a big packs of monsters, this is when this excels. Because you saw the breach, right? The more the monsters, the more the explosions. And I don't even have to attack. The explosions just keep on going, right? So this is one way to do it. So I'm just gonna have a sip. As always, do the videos in one take. Actually, this is the second time I'm doing this video. I was recording before, and my OBS crashed, and the video was gone. It was only after 15 minutes, but it kind of hurt. Anyway, that's about leveling. Once again, let me know in the comments if you want. I'm going to make a leveling video if this build is going to be used by many people. I'm going to do it because why not? Skill gems. Let's get into it. Ignore the cast on block from Swollen. I tested it and it's trash. And you need stupid amount of intelligence for that to begin with. I don't know what they were thinking. So first of all, Perfect Strike. Before you say anything, I'm going to make perfectly clear. There's only one 6 link that you should have on this build. It's Perfect Strike. This is absolutely not mandatory. This is like 12% damage, right? And you only use this to kill the first monster, and then the explosions do the work. So absolutely you do not have to have a 6 link here. 5 link is enough. But let's get with it. Window of opportunity on Perfect Strike. Quick note about Perfect Strike. I think this is the best warrior's ability in the game. Alright, let's just call it the best single target ability. I think it's way better than Hammer of the Gods. It has ridiculously strong support like this one to bridge the gap in the damage. By itself, it hits ridiculously hard. By default, it converts 80% of the damage to fire damage, so even if you don't invest into Ignite, you get big Ignites, something that you can't do with Hammer of the Gods. You need to invest into Bleed to actually make it good. In my opinion, this ability is like just amazing for single target. As you saw in the video, I did like 10 million damage with like this is a full tank character. Like not a single piece of my gear gives me damage. This is just from weapons and from the tree. That's it. And from an interesting interaction, but we're gonna get into it. So that's it. Perfect Strike with a window opportunity, 50% more damage. That's absolutely ridiculous. By the way, quick note about the shorter perfect timing window. To me, I don't see the difference. The shorter perfect timing window, I don't think it works. Why do I think that? I bought this item just out of curiosity. Skills have 46% longer perfect timing window. Guess what? I don't see any difference equipping this item. Like 146%. You would think, oh, you should freaking see a difference, right? No, you don't. I don't see any difference. So I think this perfect timing mechanic, generally speaking, is bugged, and this support literally reads as 50% more damage. Yeah, it's pretty strong. Then next up, you want conk effect, 40% more area damage, less area of effect. Basically doesn't matter because this skill is supposed to hit one person, one target, and kill it. That's it. Searing Flame for magnitude of Ignite inflicted with supported skills. I invested into Ignite with this build for 2 reasons. Reason number 1, you hit slow, and Ignite scales pretty hard in this game. Reason number 2, we're gonna get to it later when we get to Jules. Fire infusions for more fire, no brainer, and Rage Forged. One of the reasons why my things hit so hard, this hit so hard, is Rage Forged. This is more damage, 35% more damage multiplier compared to any other build in the game that cannot utilize Rage to this matter, because I can generate Rage permanently with this. So when monsters are next to me, or boss is next to me, I can just keep on spamming this and get my Rage to full instantly. So thanks to that, I can utilize some interesting mechanics, like this one, for example. That's it for Perfect Strike. Next up, we have Leap Slam. These are not in the order of importance, right? This is just like, I'm telling you guys what to use. Leap Slam, honestly, I had no idea what to do with this skill. So what I did is Holy Descent. For the regeneration, like aura, like Consecrated Ground. And Momentum for damage, Fist of War for damage every now and then, and Lightning Infusion for damage. The reason why I did that, and this is absolutely not mandatory, is if you invest enough into Leap Slam, sometimes you kill white monsters as you land on them. And this saves you using this. You don't even need to use that. You just kill like first 2 monsters or 3 monsters or something. You start shouting and the entire screen is dead, right? The entire pack is dead or whatever. This is the only reason. Other than that, I could literally keep it on 1 link. And that's it. If you have any better ideas you could support this with, please let me know. Time of Need. Herald of Ash is quite useless in this build because the explosions are physical damage. They don't generate, they don't like make other people explode again and ignite them. So Herald of Ash is useless, so I decided to go for Time of Need. I don't really care about the other one, Overwhelming Presence, because Perfect Strike always ignites. So Ailment Threshold, Reduced Ailment Threshold is useless. So I did Time of Need, which is nice, with less skill effect duration to have it every 7 seconds instead of every 10 seconds. It's basic enough. I'm pretty sure that there is nothing else useful that you can support this thing with, but if I'm wrong, let me know. Alright, Seismic Cry. So, first of all, we have both cries. First of all, what I do is I use the lowest level possible. This is the lowest level possible, it's level 5. This one can be, I think, level 11 is the lowest possible or something like that. It's level 12 doesn't matter. The lower the level of these, the lower the mana requirement, which is life requirement for us, because we have blood magic, right? That means that we can heal up for more, because we use this passive, which gives us recover 2% of life and mana when you use a Warcry. This is actually, if you keep on spamming it, this is a lot of regeneration. Because I can use it like 5 times per second or something like that. This is a lot of regeneration if you want to just sit and, like, if for example, like, I don't know, you're bleeding and you don't have your life flasks anymore. I've never had a situation like that, but let's just say that you have a, you know, damage over time debuff and you're like, you know, your HP goes down, just keep on spamming Warcry and heal up. That's actually a decent amount of regeneration, no cap. So yeah, this is about the Warcries, and Seismic Cry is Corrupting Cry. This is why we're stacking Strength. We're stacking Strength for 2 reasons. Number 1, it's maximum HP. Number 2, obviously, number 2 is Corrupting Cry. This scales only with physical damage modifiers, and yeah, the more strength you have, the more it's going to do damage. I tested how the build feels without it, just only with explosions, and this helps. This definitely helps, because the area of effect is very large. It's like, you know, like it's big, and everything is going to get hit, and they will start bleeding, and then, you know, it's just once they die, like, or they die to explosion, you can keep on chaining explosions, and it's just, you know, feels good that way. Then we have Swift Affliction for 35% more element damage. Brutality for 35% more physical damage. They both work on the corrupted blood, of course. And then more area to make it bigger, to mitigate the penalty from this, which is 30% less area of effect. Something I forgot to mention, when you're running through the maps and you just want to kill people, don't just hold the button, because you slow down tremendously. What you can do is just tap it. This way you basically don't slow at all. Just tap, just use it. If you want to use it constantly, you can just tap it and boom. And everything is going to die as well. So that's one thing you can do with Seismic Cry. But other than that, yeah, its purpose basically is to spread the debuff. Spread the word. Alright, next up we have Infernal Cry. There is a lot to talk about here. This is OP. And from what I've seen so far, nobody realized how this empowered attack gained 35% damage extra per 5 monster range. How strong this is and how this can get scaled. You guys understand? You know why I hit this Xesht before for like 10 million damage? It's because of these. This is the only way to scale your Warcry effect in this game currently, and you can roll up to 15 on these. Not all of them are perfect. They're pretty decent, but I bought them all of them for cheap. And you can scale the Warcry buff effect, and once you get to like 6 of them or 7, you can get more. You get to close to 100% increased effect. So guess what? This 150% extra damage as fire damage becomes 300%. And guess what? As a freaking Warbringer, you can use them all the time. So every perfect strike is full rage and full and it's buffed. And that's why we will be able to reach with fully optimized gear like about 15 to 20 million damage per hit into pinnacle bosses because of this scaling right there. This is like absolutely freaking insane because it allows you to keep on perfect striking with absolutely huge damage buff. This ability is the reason why we're clearing pretty well for a warrior. I would say definitely above average, and the reason at the same time why our single target damage is so freaking massive, because we can buff every single perfect strike. You can get even more damage with this if you wanted to. This, by the way, this video before was recorded without that. If I selected this, I would literally be hitting Xesht for 15 million hit. 15 million ignite per hit. But you might ask, why don't you use it? Because if I select this, then the corrupted blood stops working. Because it can only be physical damage. So if you want to, like, for example, oh, I prepared myself, like, I don't know, 20 audiences with the king. I want to do 20 pinnacle bosses in a row. You can select that literally because you don't care about corrupted blood. You can select that and enjoy big damage boost. Other than that, I just don't use it because guess what? Like every map boss I've seen so far died in single hit. So, you know. But this is something you can use to boost this even further. Alright, next up we have Berserk. Berserk is basic enough. We need to use it. The life loss per second doesn't matter that much because we regenerate a lot of life by just spamming Warcry. So we get rage effect, and it's freaking massive because we have 44 rage. 44 rage gives you 44% more damage. That's increased by 58% rage effect. That's about 70%, 65% damage or something like that. 66, around that much, 67. Guess what? That's a permanent 67% damage boost into bosses. That's pretty strong. That's pretty strong. And cannibalism, the best support for warrior in the game. For life builds, this support is insane. And life regen per second. You can absolutely use the other one, herbalism, as well for life flask effect if you want to. It's up to you. Like literally personal preference. Now Earth Shatter. Earth Shatter exists, as I said before, only for one reason: to kill the first monsters from the pack, and so you can keep on chaining explosions. So you want to add as much damage as possible. The nice interaction with Earth Shatter and the Warcry is that I believe that this is the only way to do it. Once you put your spikes in there, your Warcry, any Warcry in radius will make them explode, dealing additional damage. This is the reason why I took Earth Shatter. I tested some other stuff. I tested Bone Shatter. I tested I don't remember its name. Earth Shatter feels the best because of this interaction with your Warcries and these blocks, whatever you want to call it, right? These spikes. So Upheaval, Absolute Mastiff, 2 additional fissures. That's more clear. Overall, this is more damage, more clear. Like no questions about it. You just have to use that. More attack speed for quality of life, so you're not stuck in an animation for too long. But with a one-handed weapon, it's pretty fast if I say so myself anyway. So you're not stuck. Close combat for more damage, heft for more maximum physical damage, and a heavy swing. Honestly, as I mentioned before, this last support, I was trying to find damage supports at this point that will work well. I just couldn't find anything else. So these supports effectively are like 12-13% more damage. So the difference between 6-link and a 5-link is going to be almost none. Something to keep in mind. Don't invest into a 6-link, just stay on a 5-link, boys, and it's going to be absolutely fine. And then the last but not least, we have flammability. The reason why I'm using flammability on this build is because we're getting intelligence to Warrior Invictus anyway, and this requires 51 intelligence. The level 7 flammability, which is the lowest one, requires 52. Ain't that freaking perfect? So you just use it on a boss with High Net Curse for supported curse effect. Focused Curse for reduced delay, and more skill effect duration for longer duration. And you just use it on the boss and enjoy your 43 or 44 reduced fire resistance on bosses. Very, very strong. There is no reason not to use it. I should have been using it even on Molten Titan to drastically improve my damage and just sacrifice some strength. But I didn't do it because I'm a dumbass. And that's it when it comes to skill gems. Of course, all of these will be included in the written guide, which is not ready yet. I'm going to, after I'm done recording, I'm going to finish it up. It's going to be in the written guide, so read it and use it, boys. And that's it when it comes to skill gems. Next up, we have passive skill tree. I should probably try to speed up because we have plenty of things to talk about still. Alright, so passive tree is going to be very specific, but there is a reason why it looks this way. I tried to optimize this as hard as humanly possible in order to have good branches, so I could branch from my weapon set number 1 and weapon set number 2 to maximize the efficiency of the build. So we go here, starting area, strength, we get this, and this is, I'm going to talk about the branches later. We just get all the strength because we want to get to this area. We get bolstering yield, which is absolutely insane for both tree number 1 and tree number 2. This is why it's on the main tree, because you get increased damage from empowered attacks and 30% area at the same time. This node is worthless, unfortunately, for us, but wasting this 1 point is still worth it for these two because they are so good. We get fans' favorite beef. Gotta stack the HP up. Go here, grab the jewel socket. This build grabs a lot of jewel sockets. There's gonna be a separate section for jewels, so I'm going to talk about them later. Right now, skill tree. Unbending for stun threshold. This build does not get a lot of stun threshold unbending, and this cluster helps with that a lot. With this cluster, you basically will not get stunned unless you run map mods that read monsters have increased stun buildup by like 200% or something, and you will get stunned a lot. What you can do about this is you can get the... I should be talking about that right now, but what you can do about this, you should get a charm that gives you stun immunity. But we're gonna talk about that later. Resolute technique, absolute must-have. We don't deal crits, we don't invest into crits, we don't have enough skill points for that, so we get this. Then we go this way. Then we get brute strength, very nice, passive. Giant's blood for single target on the swap. Of course, you don't need to get that if you're not using two-handed weapons, because this weapon swap, this damage technology, will technically work with two one-handed weapons. It will work. You're just gonna have less damage, but you'll perfect strike faster. And in that case, you don't need to allocate that at all. But yeah, just mentioning. Then we have this cluster, which is Warcry Speed, and Urgent Call. This is an absolute massive and it's amazing. Even better if you have a jewel like this. This is one unique jewel I have on this build. I'm going to talk about it. Yes, this is expensive. As you see, all it does is gives me like 500 health, and this is the difference between like very optimized builds and like just good builds. You can get like a very good items, really good items for like you can build the entire character for like 5 divines, and you're going to have 5,000 life or 550, 5,500 for 5 divines or something like that. You can push it further and further, but the more you get, the more expensive it gets. And this is perfect example. Like this will cost you like 10 to 12 to 15 divines. I don't know how much it is, something like that right now. Maybe you can find it cheaper. And all it does is technically gives you 500 health, some strength for corrupted blood damage, right? And the opportunity cost is another rare jewel. And rare jewels are very powerful. So it's really not something that you need, and this is something that you should look at really once you like hit like super late game, right? This is not absolutely not mandatory. And investing into maximum rage here, it's even better because we get additional bonuses, right? Maximum life and strength. This thing, these two nodes, you don't even need to take if you don't use this jewel. Just ignore them, literally. You get 2 passive points on top of that, right? You don't need that at all. Man, now that I think about it, maybe I'm just gonna drop it. I mean, 500 health is good and strength, but this is I don't even know if this is worth it. This is like on the verge, honestly. Cause see, I would drop these two as well. It's 500 health. It is worth it, but you know what I mean, right? It's just so close. It's people say all the time, oh, you have insane jewels. The difference between like having just strong build for 5 divines and very strong build for 100 divines is like 1k life, and that's it. You don't even get damage. I'm talking about this build. You don't even get more damage. You get more damage from weapons, yes, but the difference is not as much as you would think. And then we go this way, and then you get Polymathy and Jack of all trades. I take this for two. Excuse me. Oh, sorry. For 2 reasons. Number one, this is global damage, increased damage, so it scales damage from all sources. Number 2, these all attribute nodes, I need them because I use Mortar Invictus, right? So 51 Dex, 51 Int. You need that. Then we're going this way, and we get all resistances. I forgot to mention this cluster because it's amazing. This cluster because it's amazing. All resistances. Go back to my defenses video. All resistance, maximum resistance, the best defense in the game. Then we go this way. We branch this way to get Deafening Cries and Guttural Roar. These are mandatory, by the way. This skill is amazing. This passive is amazing because it gives you 8%. The Warcry cooldown recovery rate is wasted, but it gives you 8% damage for each Warcry each time you Warcry recently. So guess what? You get quite a decent amount of Warcry speed on your tree and from jewels. I do get that from jewels. So look at the damage. I'm just gonna keep on Warcrying. Look at the damage. If you keep on Warcrying, you actually get like 50% more damage because you get 8% every time in past 4 seconds. It gets even better because guess what? The more you Warcry, the more your corrupted blood damage increases. This node is insane. So yeah, there's a very nice interaction. So you need to take this, and you go all the way here to get another jewel socket. There is another unique jewel I have on this build. I even forgot about it. This is once again absolutely not mandatory. The rare jewel, if you're gonna focus on damage with the rare jewel, is gonna give you like half of the damage of this one. So this is something like expensive that you can get once you like, you know, get to like high level of gear. But other than that, absolutely rare jewels are, keep in mind guys, rare jewels are insanely strong in this game. Insanely strong. And since we're done with passive tree, we're not done. Now we have set number 1. So set number 1 is very simple. This is this set. I use Swollen, right? And set number 1, we want to invest into block as much as possible. So these block nodes. The tree looks the way it does so that I can utilize all the damage nodes and all the block nodes that I need. So set number 1, these block nodes, these block nodes, these block nodes. This is insane, by the way, because this gives you 26 life when you block. So guess what? If I have 64% block chance, that is about 87% block chance when your block is lucky. 87. So I block like once. I get hit like once every 8 hits or something like that. So guess what? The remaining hits, you gain back 26 life for each one. So this is a nice defensive layer because you just keep on regenerating life, then something is gonna hit you, then you just keep on regenerating. These ones are amazing, very, very nice. By the way, this less knockback distance for blocked hits, I'm pretty sure it doesn't work. When there are these like, I don't know, like hedgehogs or something, when they roll on you, you just get knocked back like crazy. It doesn't work, I think. But yeah, we get this. You get the idea. We get this block. We get this block. we get this is absolutely mandatory. The 30% block chance with increased damage per block chance. Once again, this scales your corrupting blood damage, and this scales this. Because the only way you can scale this and increase its damage is with increased damage, increased physical damage, and increased area damage. That's it. So these generic physical damage modifiers are perfect. And this is the reason why on this tree number 1 I take this cluster. It's fizz, 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 and fizz plus attack speed. A very nice 4-pointer. And I don't need more blocks, so I just decided to go for it. And I think it's a very, very good idea. Now for the set number 2, the 10 million hit one, we want to utilize Ignite, Magnitude, and Damage. So we get the entire this cluster. We get Fire Penetration here in this cluster. Without this, because we do have fire exposure from Zov's blood, so we don't need that. We do melee damage with hits at close range, because we're close range permanently. And more fire pen with this, and that's it. Oh, and this cluster here, because it's another 50% increased damage with empowered attacks, which once again, how crazy strong it is. Every single attack against bosses is empowered. That's why we do so much freaking damage. And that's it for the passive tree. I tried to optimize it for a very long time. I'll be honest. I missed these two notes over here, but it's whatever. I tried to optimize it for a very, very long time, and we're gonna talk about anointment later once we get to items. But I tried to optimize it for a very long time, and this is the best I could come up with. I think it's as close to perfect as it can be, but you know, if someone is going to find like a tiny bit optimization, I've been playing this build for like 3 days, right? So if someone is going to find something that can optimize, I was thinking about these two nodes here. Yeah, just let me know, right? If you're gonna find something, I'm gonna check it out and let you know if it's better, or if you're full of yeah, you get the idea. Jewels. Jewels, we get many jewel sockets in this build. I think I counted like 8 or something. And jewels are extremely important for this build. I already mentioned how the interaction between the Warcry and how hard you can scale this to hit ridiculously hard. This is not what I used while mapping. While mapping, I used just the generic jewels with like area of effect. I got 1 maximum cold risk here and strength. I'll be honest, these jewels, what I have here, are mostly trash, and you can get much better than that. Much better. You can get much better, and they're all cheap. Anyone can get these. This, I have to admit, I corrupted this myself. I got corrupted blood cannot be inflicted on you, so I'm gonna use it. But the Ignite Magnitude, I made a mistake. The Ignite, I was looking for area of effect in the Ignite Magnitude on these jewels, and that's freaking stupid, because guess what? If I'm killing bosses with this weapon or this, I can hit them fast enough so that the Ignite is not going to really like reach its full duration. So it's kind of, I know it adds a little bit of damage still, but this is kind of like not that great. So what you can look for is area damage. You can look for maximum resistances, which is freaking insane. Like imagine if you had maximum resistance on this build too, you would get to like 85 all max res. You're just virtually immortal. You cannot die. You cannot die. Period. Right? You will not die. Like you're just not gonna die. I'm sorry. I know how tanky this build is. I could only show you one map, but I already run through like, I don't know, 200 maps. This build just does not get low HP. It doesn't. I'm sorry. Like, my apologies. So you can get maximum resistances. Area of effect is amazing, because area of effect also will scale the radius of explosions. So area of effect is the #1 stat I recommend. But you can get anything you want. Attack speed, like attack damage. Global physical damage is good, because global physical damage once again boosts your damage from the explosions and the corrupted blood. It just goes on and on. Like there's many useful stats. Block is good. I mean, if you want to get more block, like block is good, but this is the only jewel I have with block, so it's not that important. Power attacks deal increased damage is good. It's like there's so many good stats. I'm going to like probably like link the list of every good stat that you want on these jewels on my written guide, and that's it, because I could just keep on talking about it. All right, and once but not least, we're going to get to items. And items, once again, 10 exalted weapon. Itemization is very simple, as simple as when it comes to Molten Titan, as it was in the Molten Titan build. But so this weapon obviously can be improved by a lot. I saw some 550, 600 DPS weapons for one divine, and eventually I'm gonna get them. I should. I bought it specifically just to showcase like how with like garbage weapon you can actually like just what weapon this build doesn't matter. It matters for single target, but that's it. So I'm just probably gonna get something better. But the most important stats on this weapon is going to be get enough physical damage. You don't want to be running with like 50 physical damage, right? You want to get as much as possible still, because it's, you know, it is more damage on this, right? So why not? Attack speed is number 2 stat, the most important, so you can leap some faster and attack faster, so the build doesn't feel clunky. And the third most important stat is strength. You can also get level of all melee skills. If you're gonna find one, it's fine. But strength obviously boosts your corrupted blood damage, gives you health. So, but really, like you can get, I bet you can find something similar for 1x. Like, I'm not kidding. I was checking these weapons for like 10 minutes. I saw weapons similar to this one for 1x. I really did. Now, Warrior Invictus. This is, in my opinion, not like mandatory. You can use like a rare chest with as much life and strength as possible before this, and armor. You can also use Cloak of Flames. A Cloak of Flames is going to be absolutely fine. But in my opinion, this is the best chest for this character, like, period. It gives you a lot of life and it gives you a lot of strength. Both things that you want. We don't run armor on this build because I never felt like I needed it. But if you have like a chest with like very high armor, but then again you would have to, you know, you can get to good amount of armor with just these two nodes, right? And then you can get these two nodes because this gives you strength too. You can get like to 10,000 armor pretty easily. And 10,000 armor is enough to mitigate some hits. Even some big hits you will mitigate by like 20-25% with 10,000 armor. So it's not like it's useless, right? You can definitely do it. If you're on a budget, you can do it. But this is the best chest late game, I think, period. Of course, you don't need a 5 socket one. 4 socket one is going to be perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. You're going to lose 7% max life out of this and 5% strength. So 4 socket, absolutely perfectly fine. 4 socket 1 is going to cost you about 2 divines. Expensive, I know, but it's not that expensive, really. It's really not. Okay, if you just farm Breach is OP in this game, guys. If you just farm Breach, even if you play, I know how it is to play 1 hour a day, or even 30, or even 2 maps a day, because I've been there. I've been working, like, you know, in the past on conventions, like 18 hours a day sometimes. I know how it is. How you want to play it, you don't have the time. Just farm Breaches, guys. Even low tier maps, just farm Breaches. They drop exalted orbs all the freaking time. Just make sure that you get like to 100 rarity or something, or 120. That's enough. And just farm these exalteds. Divine is eventually gonna drop. Something else is gonna drop. You're gonna afford this in no time. 2 divines in PoE really is not a lot. It's really not a lot. It's really not. If I don't know what to say. Like, I know that there's gonna be some comments saying that, oh, like, you know, there's so many people below 1 divine budget. What am I supposed to do about this, though? Right? Like, you can't just like make every build with like 10 rare items for 1 exalt, and this is not possible physically. It's not possible. Sometimes yes, but most of the time not. And it is what it is. So try to get this one with 4 sockets with attributes and maximum life, boys. Late game, of course, 5 sockets. It's not still that ridiculously expensive because like 10 divines or something. So it's achievable. It's not Astromantis. That's 200 divines or something, right? This is achievable for sure. Next up, we have Swollen. You don't need to get the -10 maximum block chance one. Absolutely not. What you can get is like -12 or something, because this will put you at 63% block chance, maximum block chance, and that's it. You can even get -13 or something. I mean, I have one jewel with block. If I take it off, it puts me at 62. So technically, this block I could ignore, and I could have a -13 maximum block chance Swollen, and I would still be block capped like perfectly. So yeah, the shield is the best shield in the game. The reason why I think that this is way better than Surrender is because it's easy to recover life in this game. It really is. Like life flasks can be like, you know, partially can be instant. You have cannibalism, so like life on kill, so you explode one pack and your life is back to full. It's really easy to recover life in this game, and this just boosts your block chance into freaking oblivion. Like 65% block chance, when lucky, is equivalent to 87, I think, or 88% block chance or something like that. It's just ridiculous. It really is. It really is ridiculous. This shield basically gives you not only you have to get less block, you don't get penalized by the fact that it has 26% block chance because you have this passive. You always get 40% block chance, base block chance on your shield, so you don't get penalized for this. So basically, this affix on Surrender that gives you increased block chance is useless on this build, right? It's completely useless because you get 40% on this one anyway, and you just get so much block, man. It's really stupid. And the best part is that this shield is cheap. It's not expensive. Like you can get like a bad roll for like exalts at this point. You really can. Alright, then gloves. Focus on... Honestly, I'm just going to put helmet, gloves, boots, belt, rings in the same category. These slots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, these 6 items, you just want to get as much life, strength, and resistances as possible. You want to cap your resistances and then get the more strength and life as much as possible within your budget. That's it. The only exception is you want to have at least 20 or 25% movement speed on boots. That's the only exception. This is resistances, strength, life. Resistances, strength, life, movement speed. Resistances, strength, life. Resistances, strength, life. Ignore 800 armor. This is completely useless on this build. Resistances, strength, life. Resistances, strength, life. That's it. And you can get some good pieces for 10, 20 exalts each. They're not going to be on the level of my pieces, but you can. You absolutely can. I know. I play this game, guys. I'm not like Diablo 4 developer that doesn't know what they're talking about and they're disconnected with the community. I play the game too. I played it a lot, so I know that you can get good pieces for 10 exalts. You just need to look. You just need to look properly. People will see the item and they type literally this, what you see on the screen, and they're like, oh, your items are 20 divine each. No, they're not. You can get item like this, like with 70 less life for probably pennies. You most likely can. And this is just an example. This applies to these other items too. And then, last but not least, Zov's Blood. There's 2 things to talk about here. Enemies in your presence have fire exposure. This is only going to work when you try to kill people with perfect strike, right? Because perfect strike converts damage to fire. So like, I'll be honest, for its price, this amulet, I don't even want to take it away. I'm not even looking at super expensive rare amulets because I just don't want to take this thing away. I really like this amulet. I'm sorry. Fire resistance, 80% max life with perfect roll. And this fire exposure, it's just a good amulet, man. I know there are better ones. I know you can get something really expensive that's going to be better than this, but I like it and I recommend it to absolutely everyone because it's dirt cheap. It's dirt freaking cheap. It's 1 exalt for a random roll and like 20 exalts for a perfect roll. It's that cheap and it's good and I still use it and I don't plan on removing it, to be honest. So it's a perfect amulet. It really is. When it comes to anointment, I was thinking about it for a very, very long time. Trust me. I decided to anoint this, increased damage per 1% block chance for 1% block chance to block. This is the same as this one, so they obviously stack, right? So from both, you get 128% increased damage. This is completely useless, obviously, on my single target. So the fight that you saw against this Xesht, this was basically without anointment. But I think it's still worth it, because this increased damage scales this. It scales your corrupted blood. It like scales everything. It's just increased damage, right? So I tried to path towards this node as well as I could. I just couldn't. I just couldn't justify investing so many travel nodes to get this and this. This was just not worth it, right? So I decided to anoint it. You don't have to. And I'm going to be reading for recommendations in the comments if you have something better. Titanic is a no-brainer because it's very cheap. This is not cheap, by the way. This is like 2 fear. It's like 100 exalts to anoint this. Titanic, you can absolutely anoint Titanic. It's going to give you stun threshold and 5% strength. It's going to feel good. But then again, this is just like so much, man. It just helps with the clear. It just helps. It is what it is. But I'm still going to be thinking about something better. And when I'm going to figure out, again, like I've been playing this build for like 3 days, 4 days maybe, and there are improvements to be made for sure. So there will be more videos, of course, from this build. But yeah, this anoint feels good, and maybe I'm going to change it to something better in the future, perhaps. All right, so it's almost an hour. That's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. That's it. The Captain Poland. I'll be honest, I'm not trying to gloat or anything like this. I think this is the strongest warrior build I've seen so far in the game. From streamers that I watched and like YouTube, this is the strongest one so far. It's ridiculously tanky. It hits ridiculously hard against bosses. The clear speed is definitely passable. It's just a strong character, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And we're gonna come back in like probably like 2 or 3 days with the next video. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet. Maybe it's going to be a video about how to get a lot of maximum life, because it's been like a kind of a popular topic. Let me know down in the comments what could be better, what I could do better. Like, it's still a new thing for me, right? This is my second build after transitioning from League of Legends. So let me know what could be improved. I'm going to read all the comments and analyze. All right. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.